So here comes to part 5 of present perfect tense. In the lesson, I've already explained that there are only 12 tenses in total in the whole world. And we can put all these tenses into 3 parts: past, present, future. And under each of these parts, there are 4 modes: continuous tense, perfect tense, simple tense, continuous tense. So altogether, 12 tenses in total. And when you put all the tenses on a timeline, it should look like this. Since we're talking about present perfect tense this time, so let's take away all other tenses on a timeline, and we'll only focus on these few tenses. You should know simple present tense and present continuous tense well. When we use simple present tense, we normally talk about some habit or some conventional truth, something that happens almost every day, that always happens. Then we'll use simple present tense. And if you want to talk about action that you're doing now, at this moment, and we'll use present continuous tense. So anything before present continuous tense, before now, it should be something that was done in the past. And if you remember from my very first video when I explained what present perfect means, you will know why I put present perfect tense before present tense. Because perfect, this word, it means finished, completed. If it's present perfect, it means it's something that was finished, completed, done before the present. So to make it simple, it's something in the past. Then, what is the difference between present perfect tense and simple past tense if both of them are used to talk about things that happened in the past? Let's first explore the difference in terms of the position of these tenses on a timeline. It's very simple. If you use a ruler to measure the length between the present perfect tense to simple present tense, or the length between simple past tense to simple present tense on this timeline, there is a difference, right? Can you find the difference? How many cm apart? Of course, I'm joking. I'm not really asking you to use a ruler to measure the distance. But simply looking at this timeline, we can find out that the present perfect tense should be closer to the present tense than the past tense, right? So what does it mean? Let's take a look at these 2 sentences. The first one, I did my homework last night. The second one, I have done my homework, so I can watch a movie now. And based on my previous videos, I told you how to identify present perfect tense, right? If you see has have with a PP, like the one in the second sentence, I have done my homework. Have done is present perfect tense because has have PP. And the first one, you know that it should be in past tense because you see the irregular verb, right? The did, I did my homework, is an irregular verb in past tense form. And also you see the words last night is something that happened in the past, so definitely it's a past tense. So based on the language form, we can identify the tenses, right? Good. Now, what is the difference between these 2 sentences in terms of the function, the purpose of writing these sentences? Why do we need to say I did my homework last night? Or why do we say I have done my homework? What is the difference between the purpose of using these 2 tenses in the sentence? You can see that if I use simple past tense to talk about an event, I did my homework last night, it's just a narrative. I'm just telling you what I did last night. That's it. To let you know what I did last night. I did homework last night. That's it. But if I use present perfect tense, I've done my homework. Yes, finished. So I can watch a movie now. So you can see that an action in the past can affect my decision in the present. Because of something that I've done before, that affects what decision I may make right now. I'm not just telling you what happened in the past. I'm telling you what happened in the past that affects my current decision. Like, I've done my homework, so I can watch a movie now. So this is what we mean by the present perfect tense is closer to the present continuous tense than the past tense. It's because the present perfect tense action would affect the decision that I make now. Like, I have done my homework is present perfect tense, but it affects what I want to do now, so I can watch a movie now. So present perfect tense will affect the present. But for simple past tense, it was just an action in the past. That's it. I did my homework last night. That's it. Therefore, on a timeline, you can see present perfect tense is closer to the present than simple past tense. That is why, because present perfect tense affects the present decision. So one more time, present perfect tense is an action done in the past, finished, completed. That affects the present. And the second difference, I want you to take a look at these sentences again. I did my homework last night. Number 2, I have done my homework. So you can see that one difference in these two sentences would be the time. In the first sentence, is simple past tense. We know the exact time when I did that action. Last night. I did my homework last night. So for past tense, we can see a definite time. But for present perfect tense, do you know the finishing time? I've done my homework, but I didn't tell you when I did it. So there may not be an exact finishing time in present perfect tense. Therefore, if you see exact time, a definite time for a past action, normally we can consider that as simple past tense. I did my homework last night. We went there yesterday. They sold their car 2 months ago. I was born in 1986. So when you see an exact time, a definite time for the action to complete, and you see irregular verbs or regular verbs in past tense form, definitely it's past tense. But in present perfect tense, seldom we see the finishing time, the exact definite time when you've done the action. So take a look at these sentences. Number 1, I've done my homework. Number 2, we've been there. Number 3, they have sold their car. Number 4, she has lived here. So in all these sentences, you don't see an exact time, no finishing time. You don't know when these actions were done. You just know that they were completed. And of course, because you see the language form has half PP, that's why we definitely can assure that these are in present perfect tense. So this is another major difference between the past tense and present perfect tense. For past tense, we know the exact time, the definite time for the action to complete. But for present perfect tense, we don't know the definite time. We don't know the finishing time. No time markers. But you may argue with me, hey, Miss Jenny, sometimes when I see some present perfect tense sentences, I see time. Like these. I've done my homework for an hour. We've been there before. They've sold their car for 2 months. She has lived here since 1986. Aren't these time markers? Hour, 2 months, 1986. They are time. Yes, they are time markers, but they are not the finishing time of the actions. Okay? Not an exact definite time for the action to complete. Take a look at the first one. I've done my homework for an hour. We just know the duration. We don't even know the starting time nor the finishing time. I don't know when you've done that. So, it's just the duration. No definite exact finishing time. Number 2, we've been there before. Before when? Don't know, so it's not exact. Number 3, they've sold their car for 2 months. So when you see for, duration again. Oh, for 2 months already, so which day? Don't know, not sure, no exact definite time. Number 4, she's lived here since 1986. Hey, this is exact 1986, but we use the word since. So we just know the starting time. Still, we don't know the finishing time. We don't know when. Well, if we say she has lived here, it means she now has moved away already. She's not living here anymore. So when did she move? Do you know? We don't. So this is no exact finishing time. We don't know when she moved. So remember, even you see some time markers, you see some preposition that seems like they're telling you the time, but they're actually not, because they're not telling you the exact finishing time for these actions. So they are still not simple past tense. They're still present perfect tense. Okay? Remember, in present perfect tense, we see these two words a lot in the complement, in the ending of the sentence. For, how long, since, when. So when we see for, it's a duration only. It's not the ending time. For 1 month, for a week, for 2 days, a duration. If we see since, we know it's a starting time. We don't know the ending time. Since Monday, since last month. So it's the starting time only. We don't know the ending time. You see these two words a lot in present perfect tense, okay? So basically that's it. 2 major differences between past tense and present perfect tense. Let me conclude. Present perfect tense is an action that was done in the past. So it's finished, completed, done. But this action affects the current situation. It affects the present. It affects how you make decision now. And remember, there's no definite finishing time, no exact finishing time. We may know the duration, how long you have used to do this action. We may know the starting time, but we definitely won't know when it was ended. So when you see all these, plus the language form, has, have, pp, that's definitely present perfect tense, okay? So this is how you should identify present perfect tense from simple past tense. So remember one more time, simple past tense, if you see an exact finishing time, I did my homework last night. I sold the car 2 weeks ago. So it's something that is exact when you did that action. And nothing that is related to the present. It was just something in the past. Then we'll use simple past tense. But if we see has, have, pp, and there's no time marker, no exact time, we don't know the finishing time. If you see the word for or since, and you see that the action affects now the current situation, then you're pretty sure that is in present perfect tense. Okay? So this is how we distinguish simple past tense from present perfect tense. Okay? Simple past tense, we know the time. Present perfect tense, no time. Okay? So I hope after watching this video, you have some concept of how to identify past tense, simple past tense from present perfect tense, even though both tenses are used to describe action that happened in the past, before present, okay? So remember the rules. If you still don't remember yet, please go back to the beginning and rewatch this video until you remember. Alright, bye!